and welcome to a new video of the Cruise Vibes, and today this is a video in cooperation with CITS, and they invited me to take a look at the MS Otello, a river cruise ship. And of course we are starting as always with a few general facts. The ship was built in 1993, is 110 meters long, 11.4 meters wide, and is owned by the Dutch company SijFa Cruises. As this is a slightly older ship, this ship does have a quite interesting history. There is no place in this ship where you will see the age of the ship, and that is due to the interesting history of the ship. It was built in 1993 as Regina Reni. Then in 2006 it was transferred to Uniworld, and since 2006 it was sailing as the river ambassador for Uniworld Cruises. In the year 2018 Uniworld started a quite interesting experiment and renamed the ship DA, and it was completely modernized for young guests. So they exclusively had young guests on board of this ship. Therefore it was heavily modernized, and it was quite famous because the exterior was completely black. But this experiment failed, and since 2023 the ship is now sailing with regular cruise ship guests again as Otello for SijFa Cruises. The ship can take up to 123 passengers in 61 cabins, and here we can see one of those cabins. This is a classic cabin on the lower deck, but you can still see how modern this ship is from the inside, because of course it still has a lot of its modern features. Therefore you have a lot of power sockets in your cabin, and in general a very pleasant modern design. Here we are in the cabin hallway on the lower deck, and also here you can see that this ship looks quite different to other river cruise ships. That is also because it was a Uniworld ship, and Uniworld is well known for having a quite different interior in their ships. They are usually sailing with American guests, and this is now one of the very few ships where you can experience the design of Uniworld, and that is why this ship looks a bit different than other cruise ships, but in a positive way, because I really love the design of Uniworld. And here it was just slightly changed to adapt the new market with regular, mostly German cruise passengers again, but still there are a few things that are different, again in a positive way. For example, this ship does have the biggest gym I've ever seen on a river cruise ship, especially on a river cruise ship of this small size. So this is a really good proper gym here on board, and that is typical for the Otello. It's not a ship exclusively for young guests anymore, but it is now a ship that is equally attractive to younger and older people. It is mostly sailing now with German guests, but also with international guests and guests from other countries. I'll tell you a bit more about where you can book the ship and where it is sailing later on. We have now left the gym, and now we are right in front of the entrance of the restaurant, and here on the left side we have a small coffee station where you can get water, tea and coffee 24/7 in a self-service. And right in front of that is the restaurant, which we're gonna take a look at now. So we're gonna go through this door. This door is of course open when the restaurant is opened, but of course we're gonna take a look into the restaurant before it opened for the passengers. And here we can see the wonderful restaurant. I would say this is one of the most beautiful restaurants I've ever seen on a river cruise ship, as you have a lot of space. You have a very nice, bright, modern design. It looks very comfortable. And of course we have big picture windows, so you can also enjoy the wonderful landscape that you're gonna see during the meal times. When I visited the ship, there was a group of Scandinavian guests on board, hence the table decoration, which we can see here a bit closer. And as you can see, it is a very modern design, but still in a nice and comfortable way. So this is the unique thing about the Otello. It combines modernness with comfort and coziness. Yeah, now we've seen everything on the lower deck, and that means that we can go up one deck, and then we are already at the upper deck, because this ship only has 2 decks plus sun deck. There is a chairlift available if you're not able to use the stairs, and now we are at the reception area. Here at the reception area we have a small shop where you can buy souvenirs, jewelry and a few other things, and the shop is managed by the reception, so if you want to buy something from the shop you can just go to the reception desk. Before taking a closer look at the reception area, we're gonna just quickly pass through it and take a short look at the cabin hallway on the upper deck. There were no empty cabins on this deck, and we are now going through the cabin hallway on the upper deck. All cabins were occupied here on this deck, so we cannot see them in the video, but I got some official pictures that I can show you of the two types of cabins that can be found here on the upper deck. Here we have a standard cabin on the upper deck with the French balcony, and the biggest cabin category on board are the suites, and here we can see a picture of one of the suites on board. There are no public areas at the aft of the ship because they are the crew cabins, and that means that we can now go straight back to the reception area. And I really like the reception area because also this area looks quite different to any other river cruise ship due to the use of the colors black and white, strong contrast, but it's still comfortable, cozy, so they found a nice combination of modernness and coziness. What I also quite like is the seating area here. If you want to wait for your friends before going ashore, this is the perfect place to meet. Whilst on other ship you have to go to the lounge or you have to wait standing up. Here you can take a seat and wait comfortably until the rest of your group is there. And now we've seen the reception area, and now the last public area that we can see on this deck is the heart of the ship, the panoramic lounge, and of course we're going to take a look at that now. So as I promised, I will now tell you a bit more about how you can book a cruise on this ship. This ship is owned by SijFa Cruises, but SijFa Cruises is not selling their cruises directly to guests. Instead, they have partners. So one of these partners is CITS, the company that invited me to take a look at the ship. But also CITS is not selling the cruises directly to guests, but instead they also have partners, and those partners are group travel companies, coach companies, local travel agencies, and they sell the cruises to the guests. So if you want to take a cruise on the Otello, just head to Google, type in the ship's name, and then you will immediately find those companies that chartered the ship from SijFa and CITS. And with these companies you can book your cruise on this wonderful ship. Here you can see the beautiful panoramic lounge with different seating options. The front part we have comfortable chairs and sofas with small cocktail tables, and close to the bar we have seating areas with big tables where you can either, for example, work on your laptop or play card games and board games. And almost every seat does have a power socket. This is again something that you will not find on most river cruise ships, but here you will have a lot of power sockets, so you can take your camera with you, you can take your phone with you, and if a battery is about to die you can just simply charge it here in the lounge without having to go back to your cabin. The seating area in the front, the sofas are very soft and comfortable, so it's very nice to sit there. You have the big panoramic windows to enjoy the landscape, or if you want to work or play games you can use the rear part of the lounge with the bigger tables. So also the lounge, in my opinion, is very beautiful, and I really enjoyed spending a few hours here. In the year 2024, this ship is mostly sailing on the Danube with a typical 7 days Danube cruise from Passau to Budapest and back, but there are also some cruises on the Rhine, on the Mosel, and also of course on the Main-Danube channel and the River Main. So as I said, just head to Google and check which itineraries are available. Mostly the ship is sailing with German guests, but also, as you've just seen in this video, there are cruises with Scandinavian groups, but there might also be cruises with English-speaking guests or other nationalities. We have now seen everything on the second deck, and now we can go up to the sun deck. Here in the front we have the wheelhouse and a small seating area in front of the wheelhouse, and in the aft we have the typical sun loungers. And as the ship only has 2 decks, the sun deck is open most of the time. Even if we have some lower bridges, the sun deck still can stay open. Here on the left side you can see a bigger cruise ship, and you can see that their sun deck is higher than ours, and they have to close their sun deck if there are low bridges, for example on the Main-Danube channel. But here on this ship mostly the sun deck can stay opened as it is a bit lower than on other ships. On the side we have comfortable benches, and in the middle we have the typical sun loungers, chairs and tables, also partly with a bit of shadow. And then in the front we have a completely covered area that we're gonna take a look at soon. So now let's head back to the front to see the last area that we haven't seen yet, the indoor area at the sun deck. This covered area can be used if the weather is not perfect, for example, and you still want to enjoy a perfect view. This is the place to go. This place also comes with an own bar, but it might not be open always, as this part is quite high, so it needs to be closed if the bridges are too low. And now we've seen all parts of the wonderful Otello, we are now going back down to the reception area, and there we will end this video. So once again, thank you to CITS for inviting me to have a look on board to make a ship video about the beautiful Otello. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed this beautiful ship. If you want to see more ship videos, make sure to follow. Here you can see when the next video will be uploaded and the name of the song. As always, I'd like to say thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider to comment, like or share the video link, and I hope to see you in my next video.